Kyle, does your lighting just change a lot?
It's when I think it's when I open a page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just when I open a page. I think I'm going blind though. Everything's very cloudy.
Yeah, bro.
I prescribe another cigarette stat.
I'm about to fire one up. I thought I'd go to an AMA question. By the way, if you'd like to ask us some AMA questions, I believe it's just $5. Sign up on Patreon.
Good idea.
This guy said in the news, if you search the prison that I was in, it says that someone was arrested for trafficking drugs in the Talladega County Jail. You're off, buddy. See, I was in prison. This is the county jail. He's wondering if I had any knowledge on if I was there while it happened. Quite a few people got arrested, or not arrested, but punished for selling drugs while I was there. I don't know if they file criminal charges when they catch you with drugs in prison. Seems a bit redundant. But there was definitely several people who got caught. One of them had synthetic marijuana, which is called spice. Mm-hmm. And another guy had actual marijuana, and he got caught. The actual drug dealers never got caught while I was there. The two people that I saw get caught were just users, and they just had their own shit. But there were people there, selling every drug under the sun, really, from OxyContin to marijuana to heroin. But those people did not get caught for whatever reason. Although,
did you ever try that spice shit?
No, never. I always had marijuana.
I remember it was high school when that spice shit was still legal here. I think it's illegal now.
Where are you from?
Missouri, St. Louis. And we were in high school, and we were drinking a bunch at a friend of ours' house, hanging out, doing fun stuff. And we came back in, and this guy had a huge you can't smoke weed at my house. You can't smoke weed at my house. And everybody was like, we don't care, dude. We're fucking 18. We just want to get drunk. And then we came back in later, and this was during the first season of Archer. The very first season. It was maybe 2 or 3 episodes in. And he'd been telling us all night, dude, you got to watch this show. You got to watch this Archer show. It's so funny. I'm all right. And it was late in the night. There were only maybe 5 guys left. So we're sitting there all buzzed, all a little drunk, feeling good, sitting around, about to start watching an episode of Archer. And he goes, oh, wait, paused it. Let's smoke some spice before we turn on Archer. And I was like, and everybody's like, yeah, sure, because they'd all done it before. And I had never smoked this spice stuff. And I was like, I guess, okay, I'll do it too. If everybody's doing it, I'll do it. And so he packs up a little, a baddie of that. And everybody's smoking half of it, and you pass to the next person, and they finish it, and then they repack it with the spice, and they pass it along. And it got to me, and I had the guy prior to me had packed it full because he had finished it, and he gave it to me. And I took a big hit of spice and handed it off to the guy to my left, and then kind of and they said, hold it in. And so I kind of held it in until I, and for maybe 4 seconds afterward, I was like, I knew it. Fake weed doesn't do a thing. And then my entire reality came to a halt. It was, I felt like someone, I remember even at the time describing it afterward, because afterward, those fucking maniacs, at least 2 of them were like, let's smoke more spice. And I was like, no, I don't want to do more of that. That's terrible. For 15 minutes, I felt like a giant had my shoulders in their arms and was just shaking me. Just shaking me and moving me around and tipping me over, and my whole balance, my inner ears just went to shit. I didn't know it was happening. It was an absolute fucking panic attack for 15 minutes. It was horrible. One of the worst experiences of my life doing that fake weed shit. So fucking bad. So anybody out there who wants to try that spice stuff, I don't think people even do that anymore, but holy fuck, do not do it.
In prison.
It's not even a little bit fun.
So
it is terrible.
When people say synthetic weed, are they talking about spice?
Yeah, yes. Synthetic weed is spice. And so it tastes all right. It tastes like, this tastes like blueberry or something. And then you're just absolutely debilitated. It is fucking terrible. I felt like I was going to vomit, and it was, if you drink too much and you feel like you're going to vomit, you go to the bathroom and it's like, oh, the vomit is coming. Here is the vomit. You vomit.
Sure.
I felt like I was going to vomit, and there was no way to vomit. It was just like it simulated the feeling of needing to yak without the actual biological need to yak. And so you could just stand there. I remember I went outside at one point and was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to fucking throw up. And I stood there for a bit, like drooling, like I was going to throw up, but there was no actual biological need to throw up. So it was the worst of both worlds. So
how long did it last?
that shit, 15 minutes.
Sorry.
After 15 minutes, 100% back to normal, almost like instantly. Over the course of like 2 minutes, it came from calamitous panic to I'm fine.
Did anyone like it?
Yeah, 2 of my buddies apparently did because I kept using it. I don't know though. That shit fucking sucked. Terrible.
Yeah, I would not want any part of that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, no, fuck that shit.
No, I've heard too many like horror stories of people like having like seizures and stuff from that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I never heard about that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've heard a lot of horror stories like that, like having really bad adverse reactions to it. Whereas there's marijuana that doesn't do anything bad to you whatsoever. So, yeah, this doesn't seem like a good idea.
I was driving a couple friends back to Mizzou one time, and they were into that spice shit, and they were in the back of my car. Another friend of mine was in front, and they're like, hey, pull off at this fishing shack. You know, to get to where Mizzou is, it's in Columbia, Missouri. St. Louis, it's just a straight shot on Highway 70. So there's not a lot. And he's like, pull off. I want to go to this fishing store. I'm like, what? Okay, I guess. We pull off. Turns out that fishing store was a bait and tackle shop plus a spice depot. And so they came back with a ton of this spice stuff. And this is post when I had that experience at my buddy's house. And so they got back in the back. And they were like, you guys want to smoke this? And I'm like, no. First of all, I'm driving. Second of all, this is terrible. I don't want to do that. And they smoked all of it between them to the point that they got so panicked that I had to pull off like 4 miles down the road past that to a Cracker Barrel and hang out for an hour while they came to, because I guess they smoked so much it did not immediately
What did
abide.
you do while they were panicking? Were you like, remember White Boy was a good too high tour guide, I called him. Were you?
No, because we pulled off into the Cracker Barrel, and then we sat there for a couple minutes in the lot, and I was like, you guys good to go yet? You guys good to go? And they're like, no, we got to get out. We got to get out of the car. So they got out and then stood for a couple more minutes, and I was like, all right, well, let's just go into Cracker Barrel and have a meal. And so we ended up going in. I got a nice breakfast, and they just were sweaty.